Many people think that responding and reacting are the same thing, but they're not. They're very different. They're different mentally, they're different emotionally, and even physiologically. Reacting comes from a place of high emotion. It's often triggered by emotion, not by logic. It is very instant. Someone says something or does something, you react immediately. It comes from a triggered state. So usually we are triggered, we're in fight or flight or freeze, and we often speak or act before the brain has had a chance to even process what's going on. It's really about relief. It's usually not about resolution. Reaction really comes from your ego trying to protect itself. So it's not really interested in preserving the relationship or even thinking about the consequences of your action. Therefore, reactions often lead to regret, miscommunication, escalation, things going out of control because we lose ourselves just for that moment. Let's contrast this with responding. Responding comes from a calmer state. It comes from an intentional place. Usually when we respond, we have had time to think about what is going on. We've paused before we're doing anything. We've had time to process our emotions instead of letting them take over, which is what happens when we react. We've had time to consider the consequences of our actions, what we're trying to achieve, and also whether our values align with what we're about to say or do. So we tend to be acting from a more grounded, logical, emotionally regulated state. And usually how do we do that? It's simply by pausing, taking a breath, saying, can I get back to you? Can we talk about this later? And so, of course, responding leads to clearer communication, better outcomes, self-respect, honoring your boundaries, and more respectful interaction. Why does reacting happen, or why do we react? It happens because we're triggered, because some old emotional wound or some pattern that we've had in the past is activated. Your brain is in a protection mode. It's trying to protect you. It's not thinking. And of course, your nervous system is probably dysregulated. But of course, we know that responding is going to be more powerful because we're approaching things in a calmer, more logical state. It shows emotional maturity. It protects our boundaries. It shows that we have self-control. And most of all, it protects our relationship and our inner peace. So of course, if we have a choice, we should always choose response over react.